Good morning, everybody. Great presentation, Todd. I appreciate that. In my previous job, I did a lot of work with the AMA, and you guys have done a good job for healthcare. So, again, my name is Larry Kaiser. I'm the Vice President of Marketing for Optimum Healthcare IT. I've been in healthcare for just about 14 years now. So, a little bit about Optimum Healthcare IT. We were founded in 2012. We're based in Jacksonville Beach, Florida, where it's very much warmer than it is here today. We have been featured 3 years in a row as the 50 most fastest growing companies in the Northeast Florida area. And 2 consecutive years in a row right now as best in class overall healthcare IT services firm, and as well as listed in the healthcare informatics top 100 healthcare IT vendors based on revenue, with about 23% year-over-year growth. I joined the organization in June of 2016. From a marketing perspective, we had a logo and we had a website. For those that have been doing Martech for a while, our website was a Drupal website built on 2012 Drupal code, had never been updated. So it was old and it was very much dated. And Optimum was trying to do a new website for about 9 months and kept stalling. So when I came on board to launch the marketing function, I was literally building from the ground up. So my background in healthcare is with a technology company, marketing electronic health record software. So we had a widget, we used to sell that, and it was a lot easier than, in my mind, than marketing services. So I knew coming in that we'd be marketing our people, our methodologies, and our experiences with other hospitals. And to me, that means content. So when I came in, I had really 4 goals. The first was to strengthen our brand position, which in the most basic of sense was actually creating a brand position. Fuel demand for our services and create some lead generation coming in from the digital areas, whether that be social or from our website itself. Promote thought leadership to put our senior consultants and the company out there as thought leaders in the industry, so our company comes across as knowing what we're talking about, and then to inform and educate our employees, because in the long run, we're all salespeople. Whether you're marketing, whether you're HR, you all need to be able to talk about the company, so everybody had to help across the board there. So coming in, I knew the first thing we had to do was, of course, improve our website. I'm a proponent of WordPress. I'm not a big fan of Drupal, so we were working with the website, and my creative director at the time was using some developers out of the UK, and it was not going well. Thus, I said 8 months of trying to get the website up. In the end, they held our code hostage, and they wouldn't complete the website for us, so went to the good old trusty web, found a guy in Croatia, $35 an hour, to build our website, which in hindsight wasn't, at the time, was a really great idea. But now, as we're working to do a brand refresh after about 2 years, well, we have to really start from scratch, because what I've learned from using those services online is we want A. Well, they're going to give you A, which means it's 100% custom, which made updating it and creating new features as I was moving through this process a little bit more complicated. So right now, as I'll talk about towards the end, we're actually in the process of redoing our website. So my name is Larry, and I have a budget. I'm assuming everybody else has a budget as well. And in my case, when I joined Optimum Healthcare IT, we had no marketing function. So we had no budget. And they'd never had marketing before, so I had to prove marketing works. And I remember throughout the entire process, the times the light bulbs went on in certain people's heads that say, wow, marketing works. Okay, so now we can start talking about increasing your budget. So my IT tech stack is pretty simple, pretty rudimentary. So I'm kind of walk you through a little bit of how this kind of came about and what we do. Some of it costs some money, some of it doesn't. But obviously WordPress, content management. We developed and launched a website in October 2016 that was built for content. Like I said, the original website, Drupal-based, was not built for content, was pretty much static. When I go back through web archives and actually look at it, it scares me. So we went through and we built a content-rich website that had a lot of information about our service lines and so forth. But it was the jumping off point knowing that we were going to be launching a blog, publishing case studies, publishing white papers, publishing infographics, moving into video, moving into webinars as everything moved on. But we had to have that strong website in place first. So what followed the website was, a couple of case studies, one white paper, and then the blog. But once the white paper went up, well, that's the only gated content on the website. So we had MailChimp already, about $30 a month for usage, and we used it for email blasts, which later I've proven doesn't really work for services marketing. So MailChimp for me is what controls the forms on my website. So that's the only gated content I have, again, like I said, for white paper. So when someone fills out that form, it feeds MailChimp for us. And it's just a really historical record of who's downloading the white papers for us. As we've moved forward, there's been some more stuff, as I'll talk about shortly. Asana, anybody else use Asana in the room? Pretty useful tool. My creative department was really driving that one. It allowed us to understand what creative was doing. The other members of my team, whether it be my content director or my marketing manager, myself, the web marketing manager, we'd put everything in there and track everything. So we knew where the process was with all the different projects, who was requesting it, what we're waiting for, and so forth. Very, very good tool. As I've gone through recently, I've been auditing my tech stack, though. I think we're actually going to stop using it. But that's what I use right now. Google Analytics, it's free. Gives me enough information to understand who's coming to my website traffic, what pages are getting the most hits, what content for the most part is getting most hits. We have goals established on there, so it allows me to understand that. And I use the URL builder tool on there as well for UTMs to help me track a little bit further, which leads us into Bitly, which is where I do all my shortening and all my following. So I have a nice long library of URLs. I can go back and, as I repost content and repurpose the content, I can go back and get those same URLs and put them out there. So I have a really strong understanding of what content is being read, what social media channels it's best being read on, if it's being picked up by other healthcare IT publications out there. If they ask us can we publish this, I'll give them a separate link for it. Whether we have a banner ad somewhere, it's on there. So I have a really good understanding with that tool. I'm a big fan of Bitly. Buffer, anybody else use Buffer? Great for scheduling. Again, we use the free account. Pretty self-explanatory. Qvidian is a great online SaaS option for RFP management. For those of us that have been around a long time, that used to be called RFP Machine, if you ever used that. Used it in my last job, used it in this job, works really, really well. It's improved over time. That's probably the piece of technology that I pay the most for, about $1,000 a year per user. We use Microsoft Teams. Initially, I was using Stack, but MS Teams was part of our 365 subscription, so IT wanted us to start using that. And it's worked really well. I've enjoyed the ability to have different chat groups, different projects, and so forth, and that's worked well. The nature of Optum Healthcare IT's business is really staff augmentation. Bullhorn is a application that's used that tracks open jobs, candidates, the notes from the sales team and so forth. They happen to offer a free CRM function because we do not have a true CRM right now, which is very, very frustrating. I'm sure anybody else in the room would agree with me on that one. So that's a little bit of where I can track some of the stuff. So if I get a lead from a white paper download, for example, I enter it in Bullhorn. If we get an RFP on our website, through the RFP submission form, it goes into Bullhorn. But that's the extent of my CRM functionality right now. We use AdRoll for some remarketing. Love that tool, works pretty well. Utilize that on LinkedIn mainly, but I love to find my ads pop up on Skype and various places. And then recently started using Smartsheet for RFP project tracking and so forth. So in my personal opinion, it's a very weak tech stack. As I've proven the different aspects of marketing where we are, I'm able to justify the company and paying a little bit more money for us to do a little bit more. But what I have found in 2.5 years in being on the services side in healthcare versus being on the product side is that a lot of the traditional tech and a lot of the traditional marketing tools you would use and the principles and so forth is a little different, because when you're marketing a product, it's a little different than marketing a person. Because in the basic sense, I'm in the commodities market. People are a commodity. So how it all works, kind of went over that. WordPress is our website, and CMS, MailChimp handles all of our forms in our database. Asana tracks all of our tasks from the team. Google Analytics for the website numbers and UTM. Bitly tracks the clicks. Qvidian, again, RFP, Q&A management, communication with MS Teams. Basic CRM function with Bullhorn, AdRoll for remarketing, and Smartsheets as a SaaS project management for RFPs with Gantt charts and so forth. So what has happened in 2.5 years with my basic tech stack? When I joined Optimum Healthcare IT in June of 2016, we had 4,053 LinkedIn followers. And I had a nice big celebration about 2.5 weeks ago because, or actually a little bit less than that now, because we eclipsed 10,000 followers on LinkedIn. That's all of our content out there being used. That's our blogs, our white papers, our case studies, our webinars. So to me, that was a huge accomplishment. My boss said to me on the very first day, I want our LinkedIn followers to be over 10,000. Let me know how long it's going to take you. I told him 2 years, and it was just slightly over, which was a pretty good estimation. On Twitter, recently, and over the course of the last, say, year, what I've really discovered is a huge following out on Twitter. Lots of hashtag groups around healthcare IT. I actually went to a healthcare IT marketing conference and learned this. I had no idea this was going on, and I've been in healthcare, like I said, for almost 14 years. So our Twitter usage has really gone up quite a bit, and as you can see, our Twitter following has also increased, by not as much, but definitely has increased. And then we also just launched a Facebook group, a Facebook page when I started, which is more of our philanthropy and culture stuff and so forth. So that's been very exciting for me, because I think with a very basic tech stack and lots of content, I've been able to accomplish that. Other great results I've had from it. We launched our new website, like I said, in October, or our existing website in October of 2016. We're in the process right now of revamping the website, and I'm super excited about that because it looks awesome so far. But in June of 2017, we doubled our traffic from about 180 users a day to just over 400 in not even a year with everything that we were doing. And then in September of this year, we're over 900 daily visits to our website. So that again, that's mainly, it's all of our content driving that, but I think one of the more entertaining things is we had launched an RFP submission page on our website on a Thursday at 2 o'clock. On that same Thursday at 3:30, we had our very first submission on that, and we won that RFP. So that was pretty good. So again, not a lot of tech behind it, but a lot of success with it and the tools that we've had, and that has at least been the point that's allowed me to start having some conversations now on the different types of technology that I'd like to deploy for us to do things a little bit more in depth. So what do I need? God knows I need Salesforce.com so bad. I need a true CRM. I need to be able to report on these metrics. If you were to say to me today, Larry, how many RFPs have come in through your website and how much have they contributed to your funnel? I can't tell you that. I can't tell you how many deals we've closed from RFPs that have come in through our website. I can't tell you how many deals we've closed from trade show leads. Very frustrating, not just for me, I'm sure you guys are probably cringing out there as well, because it's information that we need. While MailChimp does offer some marketing automation, it's not great. My hope is that in Q3, Q4 next year, when we're possibly going to get Salesforce, that can also get part out. Because right now I really built functionality in my website for landing pages and so forth. I'd love to use the marketing automation tool for that and get a little more metrics into it and so forth. I was at this conference last year, had extensive conversation. For a CDP, it's something I really, really want. I think it would help us understand who's reading our content better. My persona that we all market, we write all of our content for is the CIO of healthcare IT organizations. I know a lot of CIOs read it because they tell me and they post about it, but I know there's other people out there reading as well, and that would justify us maybe creating some additional personas out there to do content for. So I'm hoping to do that. There's actually another tool we use called Leadlander. I don't see any value personally in it. I'm hoping maybe to eventually replace Leadlander with a CDP in the future. That would give us a little bit more information. Well, again, a little bit more money, but I think I can start justifying that kind of stuff. So really there's 5 key points I like to kind of throw out there, and I talk with my team about this all the time, is that the budget doesn't limit what we can do in marketing, it just limits what tools we can do. Because for every tool that costs X, there's another tool that costs Y that may not have as much functionality, but will accomplish the same thing. And I've tasked my team with saying we can always find a way to do what we need to do if we don't have the budget for it. This might take a little bit of extra work, a little extra Googling, talking to people you know that are also in marketing. And to be truly successful, you need the tools. But again, going back to point number 3, there's always something else out there that can accomplish it for you, a freemium version or something. And it takes time to convince people that you need to spend the money sometimes to get the tools. So we've come a long way in understanding that. We know where we need to improve. Our website, like I said, right now it's a part that we're working on right now. I'm hoping to have that done by the end of the year, but I'd rather us get it right the second time than worry about pushing it out there and having to go back. There's a lot of functionality that our current website has, whether it be landing pages for white papers, landing pages for events, landing pages for everything else that we can possibly think of at that given point in time, where we decided we wanted to go ahead and add that functionality on the current website. And because that was a completely custom website, we struggled to do it, and it's kind of Frankensteined in there a little bit. So we're looking to do things better. Things like when you register for an event on our website, for an example, you get an email. But I struggle to know who actually comes to the events. What's your name? I'll check it off. Trying to add some basic, like a QR code, for example. I can quickly scan it so I know, John Doe registered and John Doe attended. That's an issue that we've been having and we're trying to address on the new website. So as we've gone through this, and I'm always looking at the technology we have and coming to conferences like this and learning about cool new technologies that are out there, talking to other people at healthcare IT marketing conferences and understanding what they're doing, it allows me to go back and really audit what we have and determine, all right, where do I need to consider doing something different now? Do I need to consider spending a little bit more money for a tool? Is the tool we currently have better than what the pay tool would be? So it's a constant juggling act. Again, our company's only 6 years old, and I think there's a lot of great things we can do marketing-wise, a lot of great things we can do analytically that we're not doing right now. But again, with a marketing function that's only 2.5 years old, I think I'm ahead of the curve a little bit on getting to that particular area. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.